So let's try and do something with temperature. I keep on moaning about the temperature of the cave. Quite cold tonight. Let's continue with the sketch that I had done previously. So this is a copy of the timer, and that's what I've got running at the moment. I've just got this other thing in here. We'll come to that later, but apart from that, this is pretty much the same code that was running before that remembered the time. So I've been reading about how to use the internal temperature sensor of this. Now, apparently the Pi Pico has got 4 analog to digital converter, and they can all be mapped to any of these, well, to specific ones of these GPIO pins. A bit like the same way that I've mapped one of its I2C ports to pins 1 and 2. Likewise, I can use pins 2 and 3 to map the second I2C bus that the Pi Pico has got, but I'm not using a second bus at the moment. So if I wanted to test a resistor, something like that, a variable resistor, and connect it to this, I could connect it to one of the analog to digital and then get a value between 2 amounts. And I've done that before. But the temperature is also mapped to one of these converters. It's ADC4, but apparently you can't actually map that to any of the GPIO pins. That's what I read. So you can't map those to any physical pins, but you can just read the value from it. So I got some code. So you see it says get the temp from machine ADC4. We've already got machine imported. That's what we use in the I2C with. So we do that, and machine has got another thing called ADC, and that's number 4. So that's the value of the temperature currently, and you have to do this conversion. It's got something to do with 65535 is a 16-bit number, I think, maximum 16-bit number, and that's divided by a voltage, 3.3 volts. So maybe if that voltage changes, the reading will change. That's the bit I'm not sure of. Anyway, you do that bit of magic and you do that bit of magic, and it gives you a temperature. I should just be able to run this, but let's just do print temperature. So we don't really care about what this bit here is doing, but let's just print the temperature on the screen now. So let's just stop to make sure I connect to the Pi and run. So there, the temperature apparently is 5.97. I told you it's very cold in the cave. Let's grab that and I'll put that inside the LED toggle. It'll slow our timer down, but I'm not really using this as a timer at the moment. So let's just do that, and it should run inside the time loop there. Should get it every second. All right, so I mean, last time it was 5, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, 10 randomly, 9. Now I suppose because we're doing more of it, if this is the chip temperature, the chip might be warming up, but it doesn't seem very hot. I mean, I would think if I put my finger on it, we should be able to see it go up a bit. I mean, it went up to 9 and 11, but 10, 12, 11, has that gone up? I should be warmer than 5 degrees. So I don't trust it. It's not consistent enough. I don't really know whether I'm doing anything wrong. I mean, should I? Yeah, I mean, that's got an analog digital converter reading. So whenever I call that sensor temp there, that should get the reading from it. It just doesn't seem right. You'd think between seconds it would be consistent. See, it's going up and down, but maybe what the Pico's doing is changing the internal temperature all the time. But anyway, I think I'm going to use a module instead. You might have noticed I've also got this BME280 on the screen. I've got the code for this here. So a bit like the SSD, I've got this other module. So here's a little temperature module I bought. So this is a little BMP or BME280 temperature measurement module. Does some other things. Very small. Don't even know which and maybe that's barometric pressure because it's got a hole in. What do all of these little things do? Maybe that does all of it. Who knows? So I'll solder the headers onto it. Pop the headers into my breadboard. All this spatter over the breadboard is flux. I used this particular board to build one of those 3D cube things with the cube of LEDs. This thing here. And I've set this up to get the lead's all bent at the right bit, but I never videoed that. Anyway, so let's pop it on here. That's why this breadboard looks like it has seen life. Actually, before I do that, let's do the old flux pen. It's been so long since I soldered a header on, I've forgotten how to do it. Right, let's do this. Well, I hope you enjoyed that angle. I definitely didn't. So now that's soldered up, let's use this module and try and connect it to the same bus. So I'm going to take the voltage off the previous one. Well, the voltage is, so the second pin was ground, so this is the voltage coming from here to power the OLED. So let's take those. I haven't got another red, so I'll use orange. Let's put that across there. So that should have powered that up. Let's just stop that. Now at the moment, if you see on the screen, if I run it again, the first thing it prints is this 0x3C. That is the address on the I2C bus of this screen. This should have a different address. We don't know what that is yet, but I can check that I've got a connection to it by finding out whether it appears on the bus. So I can't remember which is round. This is the clock and the data signal. Oops, let's take that. Let's say that yellow is it maps to the green, and then the white maps to the blue. So I think this will either work or it will error tremendously if I've got it the right way around. Once I've got the two devices on the bus, as long as they've got different IDs, I should be able to use both of them at the same time. So let's run that again. Stop it first, run it, see if I get to, oh, first time, yeah. So this device is 076. Interestingly, this module says that the address it's going to talk to is 076, so that's good. Now this module is like the SSD module. I've just downloaded it from somewhere. I'll put a link to that in the source code. So I've downloaded that and I've put that on the flash of this. So that's where it can import that module from. So you see I've already done the import of it there. So it's ready if I want. So that's my two devices. I know I've got my two devices. This one is still going to be on IC2. It's going to be on a different address. I'm going to convert this here into a procedure that sets that conversion factor, sets up the ADC, and if I do this, that returns the internal temperature. So whenever I call that, it will give me the temperature of the internal one. Now I've got to work out how to do the external temperature. So in the same way that I set up an OLED, let's set up something for the BME as well. Okay, so set the BME module, that BME, and then I have to set up the I2C port that I'm using. I2C, and that I2C port, well, it's just called I2C, so let's call equals I2C. I mean, what I could say here, I mean, maybe if I change that to I2C bus 1, this makes it a bit clearer. That would have to change to bus 1, and this down here would have to change to bus 1. But now that doesn't make any sense, but if you say that is bus 1, so whatever you've called the I2C, that's what it is. So maybe that's a little bit clearer there. So hopefully, again, let's just run that, make sure it doesn't crash. I've got everything else right, it should work without crashing. Yeah, we're still pipping there for the temperature. Now I've got to read the temperature from it. Well, I'm not going to read the temperature here, am I? I need to read that through the normal loop. So let's go here, so print, and I'm going to print the internal temperature, which I can get from that. I think actually this should be a string, so up here I'm just going to do str just to convert that value into a string. It'll just make it a little bit easier every time I output it. So print internal temperature. Now, I can never remember this, is it plus or and? I'm using yet a different programming language today at work, so let's do plus ext, and the external is going to be BME, and all you have to do is just temperature. If I remember correctly, it might be temp. Let's try that, see what happens. Stop it and run it. All right, what have I done? str object isn't callable. All right, we don't want to do that there. Let's run that again. Can't convert float into str. Well, that's what I was trying to do, so maybe I just need to do right str internal temp. I just need to do it there, and it will probably be better if I do it here as well. So str that, so that just converts whatever number comes out of this into a string. So try that again. I think that just has to be temperature like that. Let's try that. There we go. So what do you think of that? I mean, I suppose to do it correctly I should do internal. Let's just pop that and do int. So there you go, the internal temperature is all over the place. 8, 5, 7. I mean, even if that's not Celsius, that's all over the place. But the other one is much more consistent. So this little temperature module, I think it's that little metal box with the hole on it. So I'm just going to put my finger on it. I mean, you can see theoretically the cave then is 11 degrees, which isn't that bad tonight. You can't see my breath. Let's put my thumb on it straight away. 12, 13, 14, 15, all right, 16. So that temperature module, this BME280, which does humidity and pressure as well, I think, is better than that, the internal one. So I think if I am going to use this as a temperature thing for the cave, I think what I need to do is get one of these modules for it as well as an OLED, and have that set up to use that temperature. It seems to be much more reliable to have that. So I suppose quickly I need to sort that so that it goes on the screen, doesn't it? So let's do that. So I don't need, let's get rid of the previous bit. I don't need that file now. Whoops, previous time. I don't need previous time either. OLED, let's set that. Well, the first thing that does, I want it to just say temperature. So the first thing that it shows, let's just, well, it's going to crash, but the first thing it does on the screen, it should show the word temperature. All right, that's lovely. And then down here, I don't really, I mean, having the time clipping would be quite good. Really now I could update the screen regularly because I'm not counting anything. So let's think about how I can do that. So let's take, well, we still need to do OLED fill. So let's update it every click. So OLED fill still needs to be on. Let's now call that temp string. Not that it matters. Temp string. So temp, and it was that. So temp string equals that. I suppose the better thing to do now would be to move that up to there. So it sets that and print out the entire. I'll still leave that on, and we'll just call that temp str. So that should add that to the console output. So let's try that. I think it should work without crashing. No, too much invalid syntax. Line 41. What have I missed? Oh, I've got an extra. Okay, so let's try that. All right, doesn't really matter about the block of space, but still interesting to have that internal external comparison. So now here, let's bring that across. So that's got to be OLED text, and it's temp string. Don't need the previous, but we do need to show it, and we don't need now to store anything to the internal flash. So that should be a temperature gauge using the Pico. So let's try that. Let's run that. Will it run without erroring? Yeah, has it appeared on there? Well, yeah, 11.6C. Let's just move that down the screen a little bit. Temperature, there you go. So it's in the middle of the screen. Yeah, so there it is. There's wiring up two things on a I2C bus at the same time, using the internal temperature on this and comparing it against a specific temperature module, the BME280, and that works really well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. Okay, bye.